I don't know what you call this man, he goes by many names, you know? Baus, Bausi, the Inta, or my favorite for the moment, the Messi of League of Legends. But one thing I do know is the fact that watching him play League is the most fun you can possibly have around here. Other than watching Caedrel playing support, that is. That's exactly what we will be doing today together, going over some of the most hilarious and impressive Baus moments from Los Ratones official matches so far, as well as their scrims. Throughout this video, I will also be yapping regarding how Los Ratones as a whole made Baus's unconventional style work in a competitive environment and why that's so great. We're not talking about LR winning a single streamer tournament or anything, even though they won something like that while having Caedrel on support. Oh my, those days were insane, both in a good way and kind of in a bad way too. Anyway, as I was saying, Baus and LR took his playstyle, which used to be heavily criticized, and they implemented it to perfection in a regional league. Like, come on, they literally became NLC Champions with it. No matter how you look at that achievement, it objectively is very commendable for a team created mere months ago. As for Baus specifically, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy his solo queue adventures as a long-time viewer, but now that we've been blessed with Baus, the pro player in Los Ratones for the last couple months, let me tell you, he's just on another level with pro play. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of Baus's macro decisions, along with how they integrate into LR's playstyle, I wanna start off strong and flashy by taking you back to the first big outplay I vividly remember seeing Baus pull off on a scrim early into the creation of Los Ratones. The reaction by Caedrel and the fact that we see Baus pull off these outplays with champions you wouldn't necessarily think of as 1 versus 2 monsters is kind of great, don't you think? No one I know, at least no pro player, builds Galio like this, but hey, it's working for Bausi clearly. Although this next one may not be as flashy as that Galio play, I think the Gragas chase here Baus puts the enemy team on yet again just perfectly highlights Baus's ability to soak pressure from the enemy team, all while his teammates take objectives and set up other plays around the map. Yeah, the micro dodges and stalling in general is very cool, but the most impressive part in my opinion is Baus finding these opportunities by always being at the right place at the right time, pushing waves, playing on the edge, and last but definitely not least, utilizing his superior macro understanding when it comes to side laning. It is somewhat true that even when Baus dies doing something like this, he just gains so much tempo for his team. However, I would say the times he makes out or gets a 1-for-1 trade are not just simple good plays. Those are the plays that completely break open the game for the Rats in most cases. Everything I showed you so far were in early scrims against opponents who were unfortunately not the same caliber of players in comparison to LR, but I still did consider these moments to be great glimpses of how Baus could translate his unique strategy into actual professional matches. So I say, what's a better way to see if he did manage to do that than to jump onto the NLC finals of all places? Thanks to Baus's tendency to almost always have the highest XP in the game, I just think champions like Volibear, who become monsters in the late game, are way too dangerous in his hands, especially if he's not shut down early. The Iron pick by LR in this first game of the finals also comes in extremely clutch, as Velia helps Baus to survive and sustain a crazy amount of damage while he's literally winning 1 versus 4. Talk about making a big statement in his first stage match with Los Ratones, excluding the show match against T1 of course. I can go on and on about why Baus is an absolute menace on the side lane in the mid and the late game. Nevertheless, even if you try to put him behind before that, he's simply not a top laner who is easy to dive. Yeah, he occasionally has those terrible games with being Doe again and again. Frankly, that's because some of the champions he likes to pick are not suited well to deal with dives. Yet, even with those weaker champions in the context of dives, Baus sometimes puts up a surprisingly good fight. Another thing I really want to applaud Bausi on is his mental strength when he's severely behind. I've seen other pro players completely mental boom with like half of the deaths Baus usually has. What you are watching right now is 0-5 Baus holding LR's bot tower in exchange for Crowny and Rekkles getting pretty much all the plates on the top lane. Now that's a good trade deal if I've ever seen one. The enemy team has a Bard and a Lee Sin. I would say both of those are generally considered great champions in this type of situation, but Baus here keeps the track of who will get the tower aggro after the Bard's ultimate. That alone completely turns this dive from an easy one to a disaster. In any other world, you would think this is it. It was just a nice effort by Baus to defend, right? Surely he's not going to stay. Well, you see, Velia is there as Nocturne to pick up the shutdown on Lilia, and from there, Baus and Velia somehow turned this quote-unquote weak side play into a 3-for-1. Absolutely insane in every way possible. And truth to be told, these are the moments I'm living for when I'm watching Baus as an LR fan. There are many other Baus moments we can go over together, which sounds like a good time, don't get me wrong. We will definitely do that in a future video, but right now, I wanna praise Caedrel a little bit, cause I think he deserves it fully. No, I don't wanna praise him because of his amazing support gameplay he blessed us with in the first days of Los Ratones. I just think the way he accepted he probably is not going to get Baus playing tanks, or get him to do things in the regular way of doing things, so to say, is the right move. LR so far with all the ups and downs found great success at picking comfort picks, letting Reckless's Janna work for instance, or Velia's Viego, as well as Baus's overall style. And I reckon Caedrel as their coach deserves a big credit for this. I just cannot wait to see Baus and the rest of the Rats compete at the EMEA Masters this week after all the improvements they have done together. I really hope you share the exact same sentiment, so yeah, let me know which Baus moments stood out to you the most, as I cannot possibly have all of them in a single video, right? For more LR updates throughout this very important week of games at the EMEA Masters, as I said, please do feel free to subscribe as it helps me out in such a major way. I started this channel a few months ago to talk about league stuff I'm interested in, and it honestly turned into 95% LR content, but hey, I'm not complaining as long as we have some good fun here, okay? I sincerely hope to have you back on here soon, and until then, take good care of yourself. Bye bye.
Cover your wounds, but underneath them, a million voices in your head.